So 4 principles. First thing is, here I'm not even defining the principles. I just said the board, the oars, the currents and travelers. Isn't that what it is all about? So if you remember the board, you'll understand all of it right here. So the key is to remember the navigator. If you know that little cartoon character, you know everything. That's life, that's you. Now you got to navigate your board. That's what I want to talk to you about. How you can become an accomplished navigator. And remember what we said about the archetypes?
Yeah.
What did I say? What part do you think you remember about the archetypes?
The leader and the entrepreneur.
What did I say about the accomplished traveler? The accomplished navigator can assume the archetype of choice as the situation demands. You see? I'm at here, I want to be a teacher, I can act intellectual, I can talk about theories and all, and that's intellectual. I can be a leader and show you a vision of how great you can be if you allow yourself to grow and learn and apply what you learn from all the classes you learn, including this one. Then that's like a leader type thing, but I can show you what a great job you can do, which is what I want to do with Shrish. Have lunch with him and talk to him. Leaders are dreamers, doers, and great storytellers. You've got to tell a story, tell them how my story may be. In this Masters, you notice I said a little bit about my own life. You read the preface? You saw that? I said a little bit about my company and all. Go back and read it again. Lost my chain of thought. What was I talking about before this?
You can assume your own archetype as an accomplished.
So accomplished navigator can assume the archetype of choice. Why do you think I had you do those Brookmaster for so many different? Your homework is very clear, isn't it? Why? Because it can show you which way you think, and just which way you act. You'll become that kind of characteristic. And when we do the archetype attribute matrix, you'll learn more. So what do these principles do? To integrate your action with ethics, because you notice that there's ethics over here. There is ethics over here, the giver-taker, broad, ethical. The desires, the first two are takers, the next two are givers, desires. 12 steps. First step, vision. Vision comes from inside. When you go within yourself, you normally think the right thing. The 12th step is reward and reprimand. Don't give yourself a raise if your company is failing, like they did at Bank of America. They are totally cheating and robbing the shareholders, and they're giving themselves bonus and stealing it. We did a blog on that, many blogs. You guys commented on all of it. If you go back to look at that blog on ethical choices, ethics, and you'll see last semester we did a whole lot of blogging on it. So that's from this step, action. These are managers who are involved in action. So these are the foundations of leadership, and the image of this brook illustrates all 4 principles. Okay, now let's go forward. First principle. So I'm going very simple, very slow. Handling the 4 principles. So action, remember? Action on the board. See what I emphasize? And here's the board. Will you guys remember this now? Or do I need to draw it on the other side of the board also?
No.
Scott, you remember it? So now what we did, same thing I did here. I did it on the same guy. Here we have a different page, right? Positive core values. I don't worry about the negative, because if you emphasize the positive, the negative will go away. They won't have time. You know, like we say you enter a room that's dark, you don't take a broom and start hitting the darkness. What do you do? What do you do? Light a lamp.
Turn on the light.
Yeah, turn on the light, you're a modern guy. I said light a lamp.
Light a lamp.
Say, lamp, wisdom. So darkness of the mind, the darkness, and Socrates believed, and Guru Nanak said the same thing, that evil actions, or what we call evil actions, action of taking, is a consequence of ignorance. And in Socrates, by we say ignorance means ignorance, gnosis. Gnosis. Gnosis means knowledge, lack of knowledge. Gyan. Agyanta is an Indian word.
Yeah.
Gyan means knowledge. So agyanta leads to
Ignorance.
evil or wrong
Yeah.
actions, misdeeds. Lack of insight. So you develop that, you'll automatically move in the right direction, right? So positive core values are important, and one way to do it is this set of core values. Develop your own. Now, in the past, what our students have done, they've taken these 10, these 5 and 10, and compared them with, the 10 commandments are negative. Thou shalt not. It's focused on this. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife. Lust. And that is, instead of saying, so that's fine, thou shalt not. So we are also saying that's a negative core value, so don't do the negative. Don't do the negative. Kill the negative, be the other way, be anti-lust, In other words, celibacy was what Mahatma Gandhi did. He said he won't have sex or whatever, denounced it. But I am not saying that you can conquer all of these. It's just that management. That's all I'm saying. Management, balance. Have balance. Okay? And the O's represent balance. Very simple. Third principle. 4 levels. There are 4 levels of desire. I haven't told you what they are. You notice I'm just going very slow. Very slow. Then you tell me if this is right. And the reflection. Same thing we did here, right? This is a little neater. 4th, we are all in it together. With a variety of navigators. If you notice, there are different colors, different shapes, going in different directions. You are coming and leaving. I'm here and you expect me to be a fixture. And when the fixture leaves, people get nervous. Like, when my father died, my children and everybody got nervous. Of course I got nervous. And my son told me, Dad, now you're the wall now. We have to look for you. You're the barricade. As long as, it's very deep. He's a psychiatrist. He said, very loving. He said, you're the one. So we get this feeling, as long as you're alive, we feel a sense of immortality. Do you know that? When your father passes, then you're the wall for your children. So in some ways, when you're very affectionate, you felt that way. You said, what is happening? My professor is leaving. But in a way, I said, I'm not leaving. It's just experience of life. So what Guru Gobind Singh said, that man is enlightened who in life gives away life. This is renunciation. Think about what I'm telling you now. This is the 4th level of desire. 3rd level was service. Remember the 4 levels of desire? First level is lust and survival. So if I'm trying to survive and I'm lusting for power and control, I would hang on to this, right? Second thing, wealth, if I want the money and the income, or the respect, I'm Professor Chopra. After this, I guess you're a professor, but you're no longer a professor. And today Nikki came and she had Dr. Prem Chopra written.
Yes.
I took the doctor out because I remembered, Confucius saying all the time, I remind you guys, very simple saying, ask not that you be respected by putting a big DR in front of your name or a professor. Ask that you be worthy of respect. And who do you respect? People who are valuable to you. Your father, your mother, because they give you something. They're givers to you. Why should you respect somebody who's always looking to steal something from your pocket or push you down for some reason? You don't want to respect those people. You don't like those people. Love and respect are very intimately related. So take my instance. Now I'm giving you my own case study. Right? First level. So lust of that. So this action to give up my tenured professorship and move on to something else I want to enjoy, other parts of life. Clearly reflects there's no survival issue with God's grace, right? People are struggling for jobs. People say, hey, you're giving up such a thing. There's no wealth issue. It's money. To some it's a lot of money, to some it's relative. I'm fulfilled financially. I'm not saying I'm wealthy. I just say I have enough. What more does one want? What can you do? You work harder to leave more behind? That doesn't make sense to me. But people are insecure. You're going to go anyway, so what difference does it make? You need very little. So it's wants that make us victims.